G'day, living people of Earth. Going to run through the timeline index in Final Cut Pro. Just going to show you how I use the timeline index to save time in the edit, and hopefully it can save you some time. I use it mostly at the end of the edit to do batch applications of effects and LUTs. But there's plenty of ways you can use it to your advantage. You can use it to highlight certain roles that you want to edit, and you can search through your keywords as well, so you can highlight clips that have been keyworded if you only want to edit those particular shots because you know that there might be a certain issue with them. So we'll jump into Final Cut. Alright guys, so I've just chosen a project here that has a lot of cuts. So some of these are long talking heads that have been cut to remove gaps in audio or unnecessary footage. This project is finished, but I'm just going to show you how I would use the timeline index to speed up the final touches. So I'm working on a MacBook Pro with the M1 Max chip, so I can actually play back footage now with corrective LUTs applied, and it'll play smoothly through titles and animations. But ordinarily, and the workflow that I maintain, is that I'll make the full edit without any LUTs applied, and that will help on slower computers especially that can't process the footage playback with LUTs applied. It's a good practice to be in regardless of how good your computer is. Command A, select all, Command Shift X. I'll remove the LUTs, but I will leave everything else in place for this example. So that's removed all the effects. Now you can see this washed out footage just because everything's recorded in S-Log3. So I'll just jump to the start of the timeline. Now Command Shift 2 will bring up your timeline index. The way I do this is I will search by file name, which will separate cameras. So this will display only everything with A1 in the title. Means I can select every bit of footage from the one camera. Command 5 to open that. Using this, I can apply a LUT. I can apply some sharpening. Even the default 2.5 is a little bit too much for me, so I'll drop this to 1.5 just to add a little bit of sharpening. I record with -7 on the detail in the Sony cameras, and I apply it in post. They should have a lot smaller scale because the tiniest increments make a large difference. Even the default is way too sharp. I'll check that I like it for the footage. You can see the LUT makes a world of difference. To apply this to the rest of the A1 footage, all I have to do is Command C to copy, click on that, scroll down to the bottom, shift click, Command Shift V. Now I don't want to paste the transforms, I just want to paste the LUT and the sharpen, and paste. So all of my A1 footage now has the same sharpening and the same LUT applied. I can then scroll through, and footage that I decide is too dark, I can add a Lim LUT quickie, and I can scroll over using my LUT presets to see how much brightness I want to apply, or something like that as a final touch. But the base is done. So if I had footage from multiple cameras, with this video for example, I had footage from 3 different cameras. I had the A1, I had the GoPro, and I had my A7R3, all with different file names. So I can isolate these. The A7R3, I'll just remove all the LUTs. The A7R3 was shot in Cine 2 because it's 8-bit recording, so I can't really shoot in S-Log3 for that. I would apply a Cine 2 LUT to it, Athena 3, Pro 3, so I like the Pro 3. And again, I shoot with detail at -7, so I'd add in some sharpening. 2.5 might be okay in this situation. Command C, and then every single A7R3 selected. We unselect the original clip because it's already applied. Command Shift V to paste attributes because we want to be able to select what we're pasting. Custom LUT and sharpen, paste. I can use the timeline index to find the next bit of footage to make sure it works. Find a bit of footage at random, make sure it looks good. Next, yep, that looks fine. And I know I've got GoPro footage in here as well, so removing the custom LUT, I'll leave the sharpen this time. You get the idea. Find a bit of footage, scroll through to see what it looks like. Back to my LUT presets, alphabetical order, I know the alphabet, and you can see the different options I've got here. I'll choose that one. Command C, I will apply it to all the GoPro footage. Shift click, Command Shift V. Sharpen's already applied, custom LUT, paste, and then I can go through these and check that I'm happy with them. It's just a really quick way to check that everything's good. Command Shift 2 to close the index, and you can separate everything by camera. So if you know all your GoPro footage is dark, you can add another LUT, for example, that will make it all brighter, only to the GoPro footage. You don't have to apply it to everything. The reason this is good is because on most computers, you would not edit with the LUT applied. You would go through and do your edit but then that leaves you with hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of clips, as you can see here, all from differing cameras that you need to go back through and color correct. So using a corrective LUT saved as a preset, and then utilizing the timeline index using file names, it just saves so much time, and you can go through and make an edit. Hopefully, as you make the edit without any LUTs applied, your system is powerful enough to be using better quality and optimized media. If not, you can edit proxies. So that's mostly how I use the timeline index. You can also search through your keywords here. If you've gone through and keyworded your footage, you can choose things through here. Say for example, I wanted all the A-roll or the talking headshots to be graded one way, or I wanted to edit only the rear suspension part of the video. I could use this tab here with the keywords, and the more keywords you add, the more flexibility you will have. And the rolls I don't really use, but if you want, you can go through titles, or you can put your effects into their own lane if you had lots of effects that you wanted to edit, but I don't really use that too much. That's the timeline index. Alright guys, hopefully that was of some assistance to you, and you've got some ideas about how you can use the timeline index to improve your editing workflow. Like I said at the start, I primarily use it just to apply batch edits to things using the file names of the different camera systems that I might have in the timeline, because a GoPro will need different edits applied than a drone or my main Sony camera. I couple this with LUT presets, which I think saves me a bunch of time. There'll be a video up there regarding LUT presets, and I hope the rest of your day is adequate. Not brilliant, not shit, just somewhere in the middle. I hope you don't die. In a recent survey, 40% of women said that they are more likely to sleep with a man who has good timeline index skills. Having timeline index skills is 100% guaranteed to get you a promotion at work, and it's 100% guaranteed to make you 3 inches taller. There's no downsides.